If I'm live, I don't know I'm live 100%. I'm just waiting to see confirmation that I'm live. Oh, okay, I've done something in the settings. Done something in the settings. I don't think I'm going to see that officially say go live for a little time. It's okay. Continue. We'll continue. Um, yeah, so spiritual Russian roulette. I mean that one way and one way specifically at the moment. And that is, I wonder what avenue of spirituality today's live stream will end up in. Today's, the reason is because I've got a really simple possibility for today's live stream. It says spirituality one way. It's a real sharing, just a sharing. And every other way that I go, other than this way, which is simply reading a book, um, I'm sure will be spiritual. It's grounded by that one possibility. But it's also a case of, no, I didn't mean this, but if we look at my life, where I am this very moment, it's a bit like spiritual Russian roulette. A bit like spiritual Russian roulette. And last time I played the game, last time I tried to play the game and I put all my money on red. And well, that was about 4 years ago now. But because this is spiritual Russian roulette, as much as major events have happened since that moment, the, the ball still hasn't stopped. The ball still hasn't officially stopped. To say, is it red, is it black? All I know is that in whatever the pay, the reward, the win on spiritual Russian roulette, it doesn't work like normal roulette because I've sort of been told that up to up to maybe a year ago, maybe up to a year ago, it was like I got my money back at the very least. I got my money back at the very least. And now it looks like my money's at risk again. My bet, my original bet is at risk again. So my original stake, whatever I put on red 1 year ago, the game said, don't worry, you get your original stake back. So whatever you bet, you're guaranteed to get that back. You might still win some more. But then that was taken away, but it was only officially taken away about 6 months ago. But in reality, it was taken away a year ago. Don't ask how. This is all spiritual, and for that reason, this all is possible. And at the moment, I don't know if it's landing on black, red, green, what number? I just said red. I said 49.5%. Is it that? I don't know. I don't know roulette board clearly enough to give accurate percentage statistics. But I just said red. I said red. Could have been black. And I said red. And well, it's that moment when I'm like, oh my god, my heart's in my mouth because it's finally going to show. It's finally going to show. Is it red, green, or black? That the conclusion is. And well, the reality is for me, I can't stop. I can't stop. I've got some sort of anxiety disorder because it was a big bet I put on it, and I'm a bit shaky. And I've got a bit of an anxiety disorder, and I had a previous mental health disorder, so my mental health is flaring up on one level over this, and I'm watching the infinite, minute picoseconds. Time ticks by, and the decision is to be made. But I can't hold it together to watch this, and I have to watch this to know. So I'm there, and I'm shaking with this anxiety disorder now on this decision. And I don't know what else to do. If I just shake the right way, I'm going to shake it onto red or something, and I just commit to that. You put everything on the original bet of red, the stake that you put on red was everything. It's pretty much everything for me. And well, I'm about to find out if it's red, black, or green. And believe me, it really, really could be black at the moment. And I could just really, really get done over that much more to find out it's green, which probably means, well, it probably means not a lot. It's as bad as black. Can't really get any worse than black. You bet on red. I need the coffee. And in the moment, for me, as we're waiting to find out, does it land on red, black, or green? Does it land on red, black, or green? I find myself in that place in life when I'm like, I've had to, I must, it's, it's either I don't know what's happened. I don't know if it's landed on black already, and I'm in shock that it's landed on black already, or It's the final infinite picosecond before we know. And I've just said, okay, just to protect myself, I'm gonna pretend, and tell myself it's landed on black, and my body's gonna feel that pain and feel the shock, infinite picosecond just before I find out. So if I do lose and it is on black, at least it won't hurt as much to lose. So one of those two things has happened. But either way, what the situation is, I need some kefir, my milk, my milk. I need some milk. Because where I find myself in life is to find to continue to find out if it's definitely black or if it's even red. Is it ever going to be red for me now? Miracles can always happen. I'm in a place where lots of them are happening too often for my liking. And yeah, sure, some miracle could happen and I could find out I'm on red. The inevitability is that until I find out I've gone on one, until the moment I know I've won, I've sort of I'm sort of in that limbo place. I don't know. Have I lost? Have I lost and I'm in shock and I just can't admit it already? Have I am I a millisecond away from finding out already? And I've put myself in the mindset, no, I've lost, just in case I lose, and then it's not as bad. Or three, is there still the possibility of a win for red to come good? And that's it. That is everything. That's my life. I'm locked into that not knowing. And all I know is that I have to continue. And I'm pretty sure wherever I am, in whatever position I am, I'm going to be where I said before. I'm going to be where I said before. My brain isn't working. It's going to take me a few seconds to remember where I said I was before. And where I said I was before was I'm still locked into the mentality that I can change the outcome. I've got an anxiety disorder about it. So I'm trying everything. And trying is also doing and non doing. I've got old Buddha on board helping me out with this situation. Yeah, my auntie bought me a statue of Buddha for my 40th birthday. She delivered it to me last week after I kindly asked her to come and deliver it to me. And I had a little problem with it. I wasn't fighting it, I just didn't know where to put it. I put it on the floor. He didn't like it on the floor. And then I found a little corner for it, and it was like levitating sort of thing. It was like precarious. But I really liked it there. That was when I really liked it. And something, I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's something about me, I'm that off putting, but like the camera does all the time, Buddha took a jump, and Buddha doesn't have a head anymore. I only got it recently. It's a nice statue. I really didn't want to do that to it. If I'm truthful with my life, that would have hurt. I haven't felt an ounce of pain over that. It's currently, and I'm not taking the piss, it just cheers me up. It's positive. I'm not taking the piss with it, but there's a loo roll on top of Buddha's head at the moment. Where Buddha's head should be is a loo roll. So um, I'm locked into trying to think I have something I can change the outcome. And that's what it feels like in my life. Because when I took that decision and I put everything on red, my body was included too. Well, what I know of my body is it should have stopped about a year ago. Like, just that's it. I can't take anymore. I just need to be in bed, lying down. You know what to do. I'm not able to carry on. We've done this 1,000 times before. Now's the time to just stop. My body didn't do that for some reason. I've continued. And all I'm looking at is this scenario. Is it a win? Is it not? And I'm like, for my body, I should just stop. For my body, I should just stop, but I can't. It's been over a year, and there are many reasons that haven't made that easy at all for me. But I continue and I live life with that understanding that that is a massive priority. If I can just do that, if I can just do that, I'm constantly working towards that with that understanding behind everything I do now. But for some reason, I continue. For some reason, my efforts to get back to that haven't bear the fruit, bear any fruit as of yet. Therefore, to me, that says that decision between black, red, and green hasn't been concluded yet. Am I in hell? Am I in heaven? Or maybe am I on earth? Something like that. Is my life good? Is my life bad? Or is my life something else? And that's what I'm trying to do because that's all I do. That's what I've done for a long time. I don't know how long, but weigh my life on some mythical scales of fairness to me. And at the moment, it's in the depths and I can't see it coming back from it. But it was in the depths about 4 years ago when I put it all on red. And it almost came back. It did half come back, and then it went away. I told you, life said you get your stake back. And that's like it coming back. Doesn't really matter, but it does. I've gone in on the bet now. So what happened was, okay, here's your money back. Here's your money back. But it was such a big bet, you can't deny you're half addicted to the win now. It's such a big bet. You gave everything you are to it. And all you get back so far is what you had before, which was what made you place the bet in the first place. So you're still in it. You're still in it. But that got taken away. And all it is, in reality, is me weighing life. And the best way I can describe it, or the simplest, first way I can describe it, so in a way, at the moment, when I say I put it all in red, I burnt my boat down. I said to life, I need to know life, here's everything. Last year, that bet got taken away. The original bet, it got made clear, you've risked this now, you could even lose this. It was bad before the bet, and you placed the bet, and that reality is hitting. But it's also the fact that it's been 4 years counting infinite picoseconds, one by one. And I've realized what I've done now. I realized what I've done, and it's definitely the great spiritual casino in the sky at the moment. Definitely spiritual roulette. And well, it's going to go one of three ways. I think we'll read the book. I think we read the book. What is it? 20 minutes and 50 seconds. So we're just going to read some of this book. I might read the preface. I don't know where I'm going to pick up. It's going to be really boring. And we're going to take our MFing time eating and digesting that information at the speed of Gabriel's thinking. Expression. Speed of Gabriel's expression. Not thinking. And this would become maybe just reading, just reading with Gabriel, just reading with Gabriel's expression, just reading with Gabriel's expression, and whatever Gabriel can remember in the moment, whatever Gabriel can remember in the moment. I'll tell you this book. I possibly won't tell you books in the future, but this is this book. Dragon Gates, Dragon Gates Core Method. What do I know about this book? It was it was a lecture by some Taoist master. It says 1680 here, and it was, I don't know, but I think it was around that time from when I read up on the book before. I don't remember. I thought 600s, maybe it was the 1600s. In the past, the Taoist master gave a talk. What more do I know about the book? It's likely to be about Taoism, believe it or not. It's likely to be about Taoism. The cover says very, very Taoist. Chinese writing, definitely in the right ballpark. And it's got Chinese names, it's got translation names, commentary, and that's all I know. But whether it was Taoist a few thousand years ago, Taoist a few hundred years ago, or Taoist today, I can almost bet with absolute certainty that it's the same sort of energy. It might feel different whether it's now a few hundred years ago or a few thousand years ago, but it's the same energy. One way, shape, or form, that energy has a specific consciousness that can span a length of time. No book, no Bible, no Quran, just that energy that's got a specific consciousness to. And I said to myself, this book is a pretty safe bet if you want to read up on Taoism. Why? Because the book I want to read on Taoism, I read the words and I forget the words. I don't hear the words. All I hear is what the words say. And what the words say is not what the words say. It's the sum total of what the words say and the sum total of what if the words didn't say. Meaning it's before and after words. It's because of the word, but it's before and after the word. And what's left over after hearing Taoism, living Taoism, interacting with Taoism is an energy, is an energy. And the energy is really addictive in a strange way. I mean, it's not so much addictive. It's like you got to go slow. You find out for some reason if I drink the tap water on the left, it's a bit better. It's a bit better in a specific way. And that's all it is. So go wild with Taoism. Make Taoism as crazy as you can once you get Taoism energy. take Taoism to the heights, and you might find something else. That's my bet. Taking this energy and going crazy with it. Is that possible? It just says sanity, 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 and sense to me. The four S's. This is, we'll go full Taoist now. My uncle said the five pillars of the five virtues are like five pillars. He was Taoist. I'm pretending to be Taoist in everything I've learned, and I'm going for the four S's. Four pillars. Sanity, 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 and sense. Just pretend to be Taoist, and you get the energy. That's all I've done my whole life. My uncle taught me very, very little. He told me what was beautiful about Taoism without saying, this is beautiful about Taoism. He just said, look, come and do this, Andrea, when I was Andrea at the time. And I said, if it makes you happy, uncle, that's just me. I'm not going to put my opinion in front of us. If it makes you happy. And well, he kept showing me. He kept introducing me to elements without me knowing or seeing. It's just my uncle. And basically, I'm not qualified or certified to say I'm Taoist. But I'm sincere to myself, and that's a big thing. That's a big thing. Of whatever Taoism is or must be, I don't believe they've got the rest of the Taoists in the world have a problem with me calling myself Taoist. And guess what? This is amazing. I just realized this. I don't believe any of the Taoists in the world would have an issue with anything I do that says not Taoism, not Taoism. And that's really, really weird. I've never really spoken to any Taoists except for my uncle, but I've never spoken to him directly about Taoism. It's like, oh, you want to read me a bit of that book again? All right, they're nice words, not a problem. Oh, you want to do a bit more Qigong or yoga? Sure, I know it's worth now. And in the end, it's just the energy shared between two people. And all I know as Taoism is what I remember as the interactions of the energy between me and my uncle. That's all I know as Taoism. How, as a result of that time and what it meant to me, it has shaped me and everything I am, that I'm now in a place where I can quite easily say there is a goddamn Taoist energy in my life, and well, I'm calling that Taoism. I don't know how it's got there. I haven't studied, I haven't read hardly any books except for the Tao Te Ching. And I've got a massive Taoist energy in my life, and it's so and it's so sanity, it's so sane, it's so sane, it's so sane, it's so sense. So sane, it's so sane, it's so sane, it's so sense to everything goddamn else. And what we're gonna read is Taoism energy, not the word. Forget knowing. I'm gonna guarantee you it won't make sense. And then we'll stop and have a good think about it. So do we just go to page one? I normally go for the very first bit of information to read, but we won't get very far if we do that. There are some testimonials at the front, not thousand and guarantee. Acknowledge that's what I live. So what we're gonna go in on number one, believe it or not. Right, it's got the picture of a door with two knockers on there or dragons. It's a black and white photo. Rhapsody on Wang Kang Yang of Zongyang Palace by Chen Wunshu. I might miss these titles off if we get far. As the sole seventh generation lineage master, he developed the Northern School, and through his efforts, the true meaning was expounded and propagated. We're going to need the dictionary, so I don't have the best vocabulary admittedly. Propagated, I don't, I know it, it's just I don't know it right this second. I know it, I don't know it right this second. That first sentence didn't make sense to me. We'll read it one more time. As the sole seventh generation lineage master, he developed the Northern Scroll, and through his efforts the true meaning was expounded and propagated. All the lineages of the Dragon Gate admired him in the Longwan Hall. Riding there on a crane, at one time he resided in Beshu Palace. Now it said riding there on a crane. I don't know if that's a bird crane. To me, that's what it said. He flew there on a crane. That's just my mind. That's my mind. Might be he's got a big digger and he took a big digger crane there. We don't know. It doesn't really matter. The study hall of life destiny must be combined with the study of inner nature. Destiny must be combined with the study of inner nature, as the mysterious winds were originally no different from the Ruiz. Okay, we've got a word we have to say. Ruiz. Ruiz. And what were the first type of winds? As the mysterious winds were originally no different from the Ruiz. We've got mysterious winds and we've got Ruiz winds. Now, my personal label for wind is terror at the moment. Wind says terror. And I think there's a dictionary on here. I hope there's a dictionary on here. There might not be a dictionary on here. There is a dictionary. We have a mysterious terror, and this word doesn't exist in this dictionary. The word is R-U-I-S-T. Ruist isn't here. We'll have a look on the internet, a reddish or yellowish brown flaky coating of iron oxide that is formed from iron or steel, especially in the presence of moisture. So to me that says two levels of terror. And what did it say before we started talking about terror? The study of life, destiny must be combined with the study of inner nature, as the mysterious winds were originally no different from the Ruist winds. That said, we were once upon a time the human being was able to function to the extent that the smallest terror of life, a Ruist terror, that which is formed on top of steel, something extra, the smallest terror formed of just everyday life and annoyances. To say this should just not happen, that is the level of terror. And the mysterious winds, think about the terror. We don't even know how terrifying is that. That must be the most terrifying terror, surely. If it's definitely terror that we have to experience, we don't know it, it's mysterious. God damn, it's going to be terrifying compared to iron oxide level terror. And once upon a time, we were able to cope with the terror of our greatest collective demise, and at the same time, the smallest, minutest detail in life. It was the same, we had the same consciousness. Whatever we were dealing with, whether it was the biggest consideration, our ultimate demise, or the smallest consideration, of the smallest grain of iron oxide forming on steel. You don't want metal to rust, that needs to be cared for. Thought and consciousness can and needs to go to that level as much as it does for something grand like contemplation of the whole planet's demise. Once upon a time, we were able to, they were no different from each other to someone, the single person. As long as just one composition by him, the altar scripture of just the garden is present. As long as one composition by him, the therefold, the threefold precept to shine as brightly and radiantly as the midday sun. Well, I don't really understand how that light supplies the rest of the opening page. Doesn't really matter. Lots of notes in the raps. We don't think about it too much. Why? Well, you can think about it and find the end. I'm really practical because I like my time. I like doing stuff. I like nice stuff. And if I have to read and think, that says a lot of time. It's not going to just be one book, is it? I'll get addicted. I might read 10. Oh my God, I might read 10 books on Taoism and have like a really specific thinking pattern and everything. God, no. God, no. We want the simple. It won't be many pages we read today. Once we get the energy, we'll hopefully stop. I need my phone. Not lazy. If you're practical, you're definitely practical in life. So that means half the time you're, at least half the time you're all go. And then when you stop, you fly totally the opposite. And it goes so far the opposite, you say, oh, in those moments, I'm lazy. But it's not. I just like my time. And if I've given so much when I'm being practical and I stop, I just look really lazy. And that's fine. 'Cause I don't know what lies beyond that. So back to the reading. Two legends have inspired the commissioning. Oh, about the cover. About the cover. About the cover. We don't need to know why pretty picture. Just a pretty picture. We don't need to know why pretty picture. Is it a pretty picture? Yeah. Does this pretty picture make you tingle? Probably not. So we don't need to know why. If that pretty picture made you tingle, then find out why maybe. Why not? Do we go forward? Forward. Well, I don't think we're going to get through that many pages, much more than that many pages today. We've got a choice forward on Taoism. Commentate preface. I don't know what that means. It means something before because I know the word free. As for face, does that mean book? Does that mean book and this is how Facebook was invented? Old Zuckerberg was sitting down there. I want to become Taoist. Preface. Preface. I don't know what preface. I know pre means before, and well, it's a book. So face does mean book. The question today, if we really want to hear the Tao, is what came before preface book? What came before preface book? Oh, and the answer is, what is the answer? What is the answer? The answer is MySpace. MySpace came before Facebook. Was that it, Dal? I called it Dal. The Dal. It's just the same words. That's how I hear them. So it might as well be called the Tao to me. I'm speaking to the Tao. I'm speaking to the Tao if it was an applicable, utilizable energy for a human being. And it's given us MySpace. Commentators, MySpace. That's what it said. The commentators MySpace page. Oh, that's what it means. This is me becoming the dictionary and decoding the words. And I said preface, I don't understand 100%. Preface must mean MySpace. I reread it and it comes out commentators MySpace. That's MySpace. Do I want to read this? No. We want to know about the DAO. Oh, commentators MySpace has a lot of posts. Then we got a translator's MySpace. This is how they did it once upon a time. They didn't have computers. They just put their MySpace page in a book. And now we get to the second. I told you I really don't read books much. What they called, the word I can think of in my head is dictionary, but I know that's not the right word. The content page, and what it, the orthodox ancestry of the Vinaya masters of the Dragon Gate. Now, this to me sounds like what is going on here? Maybe we're not going to get the Tao. We've got Orthodox, that's just Christianity. I was christened Orthodox Christian. And Orthodox just means the straight teaching. Straight teaching. So already we can decode whatever this is about is the straight teaching ancestry of the Vinaya masters of the Dragon Gate. But to me, Vinaya sounds Indian. And we've got a Christian connection there. And Dragon's Gate, of course, that says Taoist. But maybe this is just how my brain works. This is how my brain works. I've spent the last 20 years honing my spiritual decoding mechanism for life. And this is me decoding this book, reading it to the absolute best of my abilities, spiritual abilities. It looks like a piss take, doesn't it? But I'm serious. That doesn't have to be true, what I just said. I just asked myself, Gabriel, if all the spirituality you knew was absolutely correct right this second, how would you translate it? And I translate it, and that gets a better and better, better and better, a clearer and clearer translation over time. It's a bit weird, a bit weird. It's like you're going to university and studying spirituality, and actually studying spirituality pays off when you're reading, writing, and you're reading, writing. So we go Kui Chu Ji, Kui Chu Ji, and it's got a man with what looks like a stick and something on the end, most likely brushing the leaves on the grass. Okay, so back to this page. It's got Quin Kui Hu Ji, and it's got a date of 1148, 1227. So that's when it took place. Over about 80 years. And then it's got number one. And number one is born after Kui Fuji. So Kui Fuji is like zero in this moment. I don't know why it's done like that, but that's how it's done. And there's eight in total, but the final one is seven. And he was born in 1522, and there's a question mark before. So it's between 1150-ish to 1680-ish, the ending. That's when whatever this book is about was happening. And why don't we just read the first page, first two pages, and that's it today. Taken an hour to read, no pages, and we're about to read the first two pages. We'll do this again. We learn how to read like somebody who's studied grounded spirituality for 20 years. This is how grounded spirituality sounds if you're absolutely willing to give everything to spirituality. The following biography underscores the pivotal role that Hui Huiyi played in the development of the complete reality school. Complete reality school. That sounds sexy to me. Complete reality school. Chinese text is taken from a Ming Dynasty book, The Complete Biographies of the Rank of Immortals. The Complete Biographies of the Ranks of Immortals. I think this is coming from some good sources of books and information. We're talking about immortals. I believe in immortals. And apparently there were some immortals that wrote some personal biographies, and this was around the time of the Ming Dynasty. I don't know when the Ming Dynasty was. Shall we check it on the internet, find out when the Ming Dynasty was? No. Why? Because we don't need to know. What we need to know is most important there. There are books that this is based upon that come from the wisdom of immortals. And the label for the system at the time in that 1150 to 1680 looks like it was called the Complete Reality School. I tell you what, I would have given my Chinese yen or they yeah Chinese yen Chinese yen. I was going to say rupees. My Chinese yen to go to that school. This is me feeling the Tao now. I'm speaking how I feel the Tao. The words aren't the pretty words yet. When we get into the pretty words, I'll shut up more and we can just listen to the pretty words. At the moment, we're setting a context, a picture. Should we just get to pretty words? Let's just get to pretty words. Before we get to pretty words, let me have a smoke. Spiritual roulette. That's it. We've got here by spiritual roulette. We've got here by spiritual roulette. I need to clean my keyboard. It's filthy. The Z button. So I need to press it a bit harder. It's not really a problem. It's a really good keyboard. Sounds like a proper keyboard, innit? This is a Mac keyboard on a laptop. That's a Mac keyboard on a laptop, and I'll press this slowly so you can hear. That just says what? What? What word? What word does that say to everybody? That sound. I'll do it again. Oh, I've got a second word. I've got a second word. That sound says two words to me. That sound says two words to me. I'll tell you the first word. The first word is emails. That sound says emails. Definitely emails in it. Here's someone in an office somewhere, right? Sending an email. But it also kind of says typewriter, doesn't it? And if we've got the sound of the thing as they used to slide it across and then we continue, and all we need to do is get the frequency of typewriter typing going on here, and then I'm not going to do the sound effects with my voice, the typewriter when they push the top over. So then continue typing, then that noise. We get typewriter as well, so it says email or typewriter. We don't know don't know. You can buy them quite cheap, these keyboards. If you're neuro-linguistic, neuro-linguistic? No, not neuro-linguistic, I'm being silly. And the truth is, I don't remember the actual word. I'm thinking neurodynamic at the moment. But what it more means is neuro-troubled to the world, in my understanding. There's some neuro, there's some mental thing going on with us that's physiologically on another level that can do with sensitivity. Sensitivity. If you're sensitive, you feel your senses a lot more. Not neurolinguistic, we know. Neurodiverse. Little things like this. You do a lot of emails, if you do a lot of emails, do a lot of typewriting, treat yourself. They're not expensive. You can get them quite cheap now. Mechanical keyboards. I've got a second-hand one. It's a little bit more expensive, but I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed for a keyboard. But I know that level of life, of sensitivity to neurodiverse stuff. Neurodiverse. There we go. We found Gabriel's beautiful words, stuff. And Gabriel is saying, I'm desperate to hear the beautiful words now. Please say there are beautiful words and it's not all in your head stuff. Let's just pick up here. And I don't know where this is or what it's saying. And we'll continue as if we know what it means it's saying, but we don't dare to stop, slow down, and question stuff. These Taoists also recite phrases such as safeguard the center and raise the key. Key is chi and chi is energy. Safeguard the center and raise chi. Install the furnace and set up the cauldron. Now, what they're doing here is giving instructions. And I don't know the perspective to give you an analogy. It doesn't quite seem right because this is some sort of hall with monks or something, and they've gone there to give lectures. There's a teaching, and the way I hear it just doesn't seem right to fit that picture. So my spiritual decoding an image of what that means as an instructor, as a teaching, says it doesn't fit the picture at the moment. Says it doesn't fit the picture at the moment. But what they're giving is it instruction on an energetic level. And things like furnace and cauldron, or what do they say? A big pot that you can heat. But what does the heat do? It applies the pressure. It applies the pressure. And that's what they're trying to say. And behind these expressions, install the furnace and set up the cauldron, they're talking about energy. Safeguard the center and raise the key. So, The whole purpose in this moment is to safeguard the center. What is the center? The Dantian. The Dantian, the Dantian. But it's to raise the key, raise the chi, raise the energy. And that doesn't make sense because it's a case of safeguard the center. Well, I'm just going to leave the chi alone because the chi's home is the Dantian. Their instruction is safeguard the center, safeguard the Dantian, and raise the energy. Now, so they're saying whatever you were doing, safeguarding it, just keeping it at home, now your job is to safeguard the Dantian and raise the energy at the very same time. So high level stuff. And their instruction to do it is install the furnace, which heats the Dantian, I imagine, and set up the cauldron. That to me says, have your life as the cauldron, prepared for when your fire, the ki, the chi, your Dantian begins to fire beyond safe, beyond safe. At that moment, raise. Instead of keeping it there unsafe, allow it to move upward. How does it move upward? It doesn't move upwards, it moves outward, the light. And at that moment, when our Dantian begins to activate that way, when it's too much at Dantian, we have like a ready-made survival closet. We're making a survival closet. We don't have shotguns in our survival closet. We don't need shotguns. We have better. We have ancient immortals instructions. And the first thing we're putting in our survival closet is an action plan for life with things that we can do, with ways we can just change everything we're doing in our life that says a new energy, a better energy, something I've been waiting to do for a long time that I can get fired into. When my fire becomes too much, I can put it somewhere. Put it somewhere. But what the point is, you're sort of in a losing battle. We're in a sort of a losing battle in this place because to raise the fire, it needs to go beyond the Dantian. If we're in control, that would be Dantian. Dantian. So whatever happens, whenever we go to the survival cupboard and we pull out our Dantian overload survival action plan with life that just absorbs all the extra pressure that the Dantian of the human body is firing, is just absorbed by our life. That just says Dantian training one way. I'm just going to feel the pressure and hold the pressure and keep the pressure, maintain the pressure and not lose. But that's not chi upwards, is it? Chi upwards is, no, there's too much pressure. What's inside the pot is boiling and the vapor is coming out and the pot is drying. If more liquid is being added in as we go, but either way the energy has to rise. Install the furnace, get the fire going, and set up the cauldron. So your job is to light a firework now. Our job is to light a firework with this one. This is how I'm reading it. Very clearly. First is install the furnace. Light the spark. Light the spark on your dantian, on our dantians overflowing with energy. And it becoming too much and uncontrollable. And at the moment we've lit the spark for the dantian to start firing, that's the moment we have is go on us getting our survival kit in place to figure out how we're going to change our life in life before the firework goes, that we can maintain as much of the explosion and energy from the firework as possible over and over again, over and over again. Do that same thing over and over again. Dantien, ready? No. Dantien, ready? No. There you go, Dantien. And now we've got to figure out how to put together an action plan that stops complete and utter insanity. Now, how are we going to do that for ourselves? We can't. Why? Because the truth is that action would reap complete and utter destruction. There would be devastation for society and interaction. It's not appropriate, the actions of what that would breed. And now I've got to get into killing the doubt before I've read two lines. I'm going to kill the Tao before I've read two lines. I might have to rename this spiritual roulette, just killing the Tao. I didn't expect it. I love the Tao, but as much as I love it, I've got questions. And the questions are what I hid from you before, and I'll express it now. This is reading the Tao. And if we start again, the Taoists also recite phrases such as safeguard the center and raise the key. Install the furnace and set up the cauldron. Prolong your years and repulse diseases. And massage yourself. And practice guiding and leading. So I was going to kill the Tao, but I read to the end of the sentence. And the Tao came back and said, don't worry, Gabriel. Don't worry, Gabriel. It came back with some pretty words. It started us off with some real hard work there. It said, oh no, Bantian overload. And yep, you lit the fuse. We light the fuse on our Bantian overloads all of the time. And this is the instruction. So it tells you how to set up the mess. And that's all I read. And I got scared. I really do get scared about this stuff. It's really, really real when it comes to energy. Especially if you've got a Taoist uncle. Well, not anymore, but once upon a time. It gave us all of the hard work and it said install the furnace, light the fuse and set up the cauldron. And this is the instructions of how to set up the cauldron. Or, no, to set up the cauldron says each individual to set up the cauldron for themselves. This is how to live the cauldron. This is how to live whatever mess we've set up before the fuse explodes. Prolong your years and repulse disease. I've got a damn effing overload going on. I've got to prolong my years with this and repulse disease. And what they're saying is just don't kill yourself. Or try not to kill yourself as much as last time. Until one day you get it to prolong your years. This book comes from the immortals. and repulse disease. I'm repulsing diseases. I'm giving myself a disease by lighting a fuse on my dantian. So the reality is, when you're ill, the next time you do it, remember that. It hurts, doesn't it? It hurts. Next time you're ill, because you lit the fuse on your own dantian, remember, it hurts. Until one day it goddamn doesn't hurt. Until one day it goddamn doesn't hurt. And another way of saying that is repulse disease. What repulses disease is when it just goddamn doesn't hurt. It repulses disease. They really like to think about things, Taoists, in a specific way. And won't massage yourself. So that's it. Oh no, my 5 second survival kit to safeguard my dantian overloading has just expired its usefulness. What do I do now? Massage yourself. I do it all the time. My uncle does it all the time. Kidneys. I do it to my head. I do pillow therapy. It's the same thing. I'm just using this to rest. I'm massaging myself. I can feel the top of my head in between the pillow, and I'm timing it to energy from what I feel. And massage yourself after, do it during as well, all of the time. That and practice guiding and leading. Practice guiding and leading. So for whatever it is, we're doing this crazy, crazy thing of lighting a fuse and fire up on our dantian and legging it. I'm pretty much going to be guaranteed to fail, except for learned experience time after time after time. And what sounds like a destination of immortality free of disease. Wow, that's full on 2 sentences, man. That's not how I normally read the Tao. I just want to read the pretty words. Can I read the Tao how I would read the Tao? And then we can stop and see the 2 sentences differently. Safeguard the center and raise the key. Install the furnace and set up the cauldron. Now I would stop and just feel those 2 sentences, what they mean. Prolong your years and repulse diseases. And massage yourself. Practice guiding and leading. I take it very, very simply. Very, very simply. I don't like all that thinking, but if I thought about it, that's what I would think. Can we read the next 2 sentences the way I would read it and just read it that way? Instead of what I would think if I read it thinking. They also speak of practices such as the 16 ingots of gold. Now we need to know what an ingot of gold is, but do we know what an ingot of gold is? No. Why? Because it's something of gold. What does that mean? Gold is special. Yes. And what is an ingot? We don't know, but we're sure it's a way to just say an amount, shape, or some form of gold. We don't need a dictionary on that word. They also speak of practices such as the 6 16 ingots of gold, but we've got 16. As soon as we get a number or 16 or something, we think of the human body. Right, where can I find 16 on the human body? Is there anywhere that comes to mind with a 16 on the human body? We've got 4 limbs, we've got a head. I don't think we're making 16. Well, we've got 4 arms, rear arms. We can make an 8. We can make an 8. So maybe it's the limbs, the 4 limbs, 2 arms, 2 legs. But I'm having to think too much. I wouldn't have got to that in a finality. This is too much thinking. I would stop and I would just say, oh, 16 doesn't sound like the body. Doesn't sound like the body. Feel the energy of what 16 could be. And it's gold. I know I've got a specification of gold and 16. And this is practice. The 6 character mnemonic. I don't know what a mnemonic is. I think that's something to do with words. I'm happy to leave it there. And the 8th section, brocade. On the account of the last 2 not really mattering, the third one doesn't really matter, but I don't know what a brocade is either. But these people are well practiced in practices that seem very specific in specific ways. And Taoist text, so this is just some names of Taoist books. The Treatise of Awakening to the Truth, and the Seal of the Unity of the Three. I love the way these words are put together. To me, it's like, oh my God, they don't make sense, but this is coming from a spiritual master. And to me, it just says words that don't make sense. Spiritual master, I know what they goddamn flipping mean. It means at least as good as immortality behind it. At least as good as immortality behind it. And I'm reading it that, god damn, it doesn't make sense. And that's the situation. How beautiful is that? I am not changing that picture. I do not want to know what it means, please. I do not want to know what it means. It's so beautiful in the first instance. There was a book, The Seal of the Unity of the Three. What on earth that book have contained? The the treatise on awakening to the truth. What could what, what could have the made sense element been with what I read is doesn't make sense. It's like I get it, awakening to the truth, yeah, but there's a whole treaty on it. There was a war. There was a war on awakening to the truth, and you're telling me there's a treaty, and I'm thinking again. I'm thinking again. I don't like this. I read it, the treatise on awakening to the truth, and I think beautiful. I think beautiful. I don't understand. There's sense somewhere, and it has at least the potential of immortality. And then I start thinking about it, and I get excited. I get excited. What did I just say? Oh my God, there was a war on awakening to the truth, and somehow this book is the treaty to it. That isn't as good as it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in the first instance without thinking. The treatise on awakening to the truth says to me it requires too much energy for it to make sense. It's not ever worth me knowing or thinking why that might make sense. I'll keep going until I can read the sentence for myself and I'm not explaining why I'm reading it, how I'm reading it. Moreover, they also speak of metaphors and similes in the alchemical scriptures, such as lead and mercury, dragon and tiger, mercury and cinnabar, husband and housewife, son and daughter, the hexagram, the turtle snake, war, warming, nourishing, and bathing, congealing the embryo, entering the chamber to sit in an enclosed circle, exciting of the yin spirit and the exciting of the yang spirit. Exciting and exciting. So exciting of both spirits. There are also the 3,600 side doors. 3,600 side doors. And the 84,000 demonic methods. So what I might do is say, I've got a number, 3,600, and that says side doors, which says nothing. The next one says 84,000 demonic methods. And to me, I think, wow, we've got side doors and demonic methods in two numbers. I divide the demonic methods by side doors, and I figure out how many times more demonic methods there are than side doors I have. Why? Because demonic methods is bad, it's wrong, and all I have is side doors to the situation. So to get myself a distance away in some shape or form to the thing that I don't obviously want, which is the demonic method, all I want is side doors. I really want my side doors. I've got to figure out how many more times at an advantage the demonic methods are to the side doors. Believe me, when it comes to energy, that will get you somewhere. If it says, oh, on this occasion, I might do the math on this. I don't know why. We're not going to do the math today. I just like the words. I really, really like the words. Not making sense. There are also the three, oh, we've just read that. No, there are also the, and 84,000 demonic methods, which are far too many to be exhaustively recounted. How could one even hope to do so accurately? How could one hope to, so at the moment, I admit defeat. They said, enter an enclosed circle, and inside my mind I pictured myself in some sort of enclosed circle with inside myself. They had me at that bit, and then said, exciting of the yang spirit, exciting of the yin spirit. I said, okay, they're both excited with the same thing. Doesn't really change. There are also the 3,600 side doors, 84,000 demonic methods, which are far too many to be exhaustively recounted. There are just loads of demonic, but they've said 84,000. How could one even to do so, hope to do so accurately. How could one even do so accurately? I don't know what that final bit meant in relation to the rest of it. It doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to be coded. I've always just read it that it was someone really, really wise speaking a really, really specific way. I've just been okay with that. I'll pick up some of the lingo, pick up some of the lingo as I understand it. Admit where I don't. Don't be afraid to say I'm bound to what the words mean and I've got to stick to the words. No, not at all. O people of the assembly, the hearts of the foolish and the blind followers of these methods are devoid of wisdom. So how can they distinguish the true and the false? How can they recognize the crooked and the straight? On hearing about the Tao, how can they then attain it? Moreover, the despicable people who give instructions on how to refine the mercury of Mount Mao, just their way of expressing something, together, and who hold forth on how to use the cauldron vessel. That to me says this is saying we hold the wisdom of immortality and there's people who don't. And that's a bad thing because why don't they have the wisdom of immortality? But the point is they're really, really awkward to deal with. Awkward to deal with because they know something, and something that they know is at least the cauldron, which means Dantian. They're doing some spiritual things, but they're killing themselves. And they're just highlighting that as a problem. And they finish this with, it goes without saying that this is always the kind of person who misleads people by drawing out lust in them and tempting them with wealth. There's a person that draws out lust, tempts us with wealth. They're not on for immortality. That's what's to hear from them. Within life, there's a sect of immortals. They're human in appearance. We don't know if they're immortal or not. But the character of those who aren't immortal is that of tempting people with lust and wealth. So what does that say? That says, am I immortal or not? I am immortal. Why? Because I will live to infinity and I've died to succeed in that way. That's why I'm immortal. But there's people in the world that know they're immortal. And what's the difference between them being immortal and me being immortal? Is that I don't know I'm immortal in my body 100%, and I have to keep on the work until I know it. And for that reason, what they're describing as characters of people who are not immortal, I have to look at within myself. Where do I tempt people with lust? And where do I tempt people with wealth? If I can get rid of those two aspects of my character, I think I get rid of a big part of our human psychology problem. Big part of the human psychology problem that is born of whatever attraction there is to not being a mortal man. I think we'll have to leave it there. I'm going to have to refine myself. And this is where I've just picked up the homework. This is how I read it. This is exactly how I hear the Tao. The homework is to refine myself further, figure out why, not why, in the moments where I could possibly be tempting people in any way in relation to lust and wealth, I have to really ask some serious questions and know for certain that my actions are aligned just in those two areas. It says, hey Gabriel, you know you're doing your best always. I know that. There is no more I can do in my life in the first instance. But if I get the right wisdom that says, hey Gabriel, you know you're already doing your best, which means you're already exerting 100% energy. Is listening to this bit of wisdom worth it? You think that you can take some energy from somewhere else, just goddamn put it here too. Put some more energy on this end, this bit. And I know I can do that if it's the right wisdom. But could I do it? Some other really important seemingly things? No, no. But this is internal. What does it really take? Well, it's a big ask to put more any work on me at the moment, any more consideration, any more reflection, any more physical work, any more anything. But I know I'm in a losing position at the moment. And if I can't do it now, I'm going to do it in the future. And that's the bottom line. There's no pressure. I don't have to do it this second. Whenever it just happens naturally, if I really want it to, could be the moment when I start up in my immortal game. But it sounds like there's a distinct sickness in a human being that has access to Bantian level wisdom and what it can achieve. That their mind is very, very ill in a specific way that holds them there, and they're really unable to be communicated to. And I really want to hear the wisdom of immortality. I told you I'm on for immortality. I'm going to be immortal if I'm not already. And I'm committed to changing my life in each and every bit of wisdom. And I didn't know it, but it sounds like we goddamn have the book here to unlock immortality. If the idiot reading it is allowed to just read the beautiful words instead of decoding it as one big conspiracy, we'll find a way that I can read and you can read what I'm reading and know a little bit more. I'm gonna get a button. I'm gonna get a button for the channel. I've got the button already. It's USB and it's got a lot of buttons on there, but in addition to the lot of buttons on there, there's a green button and a red button. I really want to press the green button and it goes live. And I really want to press the red button and it says finished. And at the end of live streams, it's no longer click the finish button. It's a case of time to press the big red button. When we start live streams, I've just pressed the big green button. Hello. That'll be the way we start. The live streams maybe. And I came onto this live stream today on a wing and a prayer, and I didn't know which way it was going to go. And the pain of life is so much at the moment, it's unreal. And the bit of space inside of me that's formed as a result of just reading that book is get yourself to the goddamn park today. I might just do that, you know. I might just do that. It's really Taoist going to the park. It's a really Taoist energy going to the park. Seeing the grass, seeing the trees, listening to the birds. What else do we do in the park? But today I'm pressing the big finish button unless enter finishes it. No.